Disclaimer, this video is an experiment done in a virtual environment and not a real PC. The actions taken in this video have no impact on my PC that I'm using, nor the files on it. I do not recommend this to be done on any normal PC, and I do not take responsibility for any damage done to your PC in the course of copying my actions. Hope you enjoy. What on guys, here, and welcome to a new video. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. I got this idea from something that I was thinking about a couple of weeks ago. Now, as you're fully aware by now, I've had to reset my PC to factory settings because for some reason the Windows 10 operating system decided it was going to corrupt. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about in detail, go and look at my Space Engineers video, that should be up by now. Hopefully it is. I can't remember when my upload schedule goes, but it should be up by now. And basically, I explain what happens in detail there. But to put it in short, I had to reinstall my operating system because my operating system basically decided it was going to corrupt and not work. But so I had to completely reinstall Windows. I couldn't use anything. Nothing would work at all. So what I was thinking is, while I was reinstalling Windows, I had a thought of a theory, and I thought, if I had a secondary hard drive, now in my PC that I'm using right now, I've got a 120GB SSD and a terabyte hard disk for all my files. My SSD is my operating system. Now, I want to get a new 500GB M.2 SSD because I want to basically have my operating system on a bigger SSD, so it's got more space to like use up in like temporary files and whatnot. Because my one that I've got at the moment, it's good, it suffices, but it does get a bit clogged up with temporary files after a while. But what I was thinking is while I was doing that, while I was reinstalling my operating system on my PC, I was thinking, could I theoretically install Windows 10 on a separate operating system? And simply what you would do is, how you reinstall Windows 10 is, you set your boot order in your BIOS. I'll try my best to put an idea of what you're meant to do on the screen now. I can't actually record it on my screen because you have to do it before your operating system boots up. But what you do is you go into your BIOS of your computer, and you change your boot order from your operating system to your DVD drive, and that's what boots up first. So you get your Windows installation DVD come up first, and that's how you reinstall Windows. But I was thinking, if you've got two operating systems on two different storage devices, if one decides it's going to corrupt and not work, if you have a separate storage device for another version of Windows 10, if one corrupts, you can just swap the boot order around in the device, in the BIOS, and so it boots up the working one first. So you've actually got a working operating system to sort out all your files with, so you can actually troubleshoot what the problem is, whether it is actually the operating system or whether it's just a file in the operating system's files that has corrupted. But unfortunately, I don't actually have a secondary PC with more than one storage device that I can trial this on. So what I'm using instead is Hyper-V Manager. Now, Hyper-V is basically Windows version of what you could get VMware, VirtualBox, anything. And what it basically allows you to do is virtually install Windows 10, Windows 8.17 XP, Vista, Mac, Linux, anything onto a virtual PC. And how it works, and people use it for like experimental purposes, like installing a virus onto that virtual machine to see what would happen for experimental purposes. I just use it for a bit of fun, so I know how to install Windows and Linux and that, mainly for college stuff. But I was thinking, well, could I theoretically get two hard disk drives in a virtual machine, install Windows 10 on one, and install Windows 8.1 on the second, and then swap them around in the boot order to see if it'll work any better. Now, if I go into my test, oh no, I don't want to switch it on for the moment. No, go away. If I go into the settings, this is all the settings that I've got. So I've got the BIOS is boot from CD by default. The security, I haven't got any security on it. I've got 4 gigs of memory. I've got a normal processor, and I've got 2 hard drives. So this is the one that I'm going to install Windows 10 on. I got to install the ISO for Windows 10, but that's not a major problem. And this one is the one that I'm going to install Windows 8.1 on. Now, theoretically, when I go into the BIOS, if I switch this on a minute, media, can I just eject the... Yeah, right, if I eject the thing a minute. So if I start up the virtual machine, I'm just not going to go into the Windows boot menu for the moment. Let me just start it up. So if I go... I gotta remember what the button is to get into the BIOS. Again, for some people who don't know what how computers work and whatnot, I don't expect you to understand. That's Control Delete. Okay, so I think I gotta actually install Windows first. That's fine. Oh, excuse me. Right, no, that's fine. I was just trying to see if I can actually get into it before we're installing Windows. That's fine. Well, what we're going to do, we'll install Windows first. Just turn off the machine. We'll install Windows 10 first, then we'll install Windows 8.1, and we'll see if this theory actually works. Now, I've got to go and reinstall Windows 10, the ISO first, so I'll go and do that, and I'll be back once I've done it. Alright guys, I'm back, and I've installed or downloaded the Windows 10 ISO ready for this video. Now, just in case you skipped over it in the start of the video, I do want to put a warning out there to start with. I do not recommend in any way, shape or form you try this on your own PC. What I'm doing at the moment is doing it on a virtual machine, and it does not have any communication or contact with any files on my own PC. It is done in a completely safe manner, and it does not affect anything on my PC. Do not do it on your own system. Only do it on a proper system if you either want to take the risk of doing it on your own system, and after seeing that mine works, or do it on an old system first to ensure that if anything goes wrong, you haven't lost anything. I'm not going to be responsible for anything that happens if something goes wrong in the process, because it could be that if this goes wrong, it could delete everything off of your system, including your operating system. I'm not saying that it will, and in all fairness, I don't think that it will. But if it does, then I'm not taking responsibility for that, because I put this warning out there. So, without further ado, let's go. So, right, so what we got here, so first things first, what we need to do is we need to open the virtual machine. Now, what we'll do is we'll install Windows 10 first. So, we'll go insert disk, and we got my Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 installed. So, we'll do the Windows 10 one first. Now, this will take a while, so for me, it's going to take the full amount of time. But what I'll do is, while it's installing Windows, what's going on here? So, let's just insert Windows 10. It's because I've got the virtual hard drives stored on my external hard drive, and the reason why let's just start the machine up a minute. The reason why I've got that there is because it does take up storage space on my own hard drive, and I don't want it to take up unnecessary space, so I'm doing it on my external secondary hard drive. So what we'll do is we'll make this bigger. This should be showing as desktop. So what we'll do, right, so that's fine. So this is also just a thing of how to install Windows 10 anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you install Windows 10 anyway. So what we'll do, so just go over this first. So this is repair your computer. So what this is if you've got a broken system of Windows, you can go in this and you can do separate things with your computer. So you got turn off your PC if you want to turn off your PC, or you can troubleshoot it. Now, I'm not going to go through any of this now because there's not any need to, because there's no operating system installed on this virtual machine anyway. So what this does, you've got your system restore, which you can create your system restore points. Ideally, you should do it once a month. I don't, because I haven't got the effort. But it basically puts it back to the previous system restore point to when your computer was actually working previously. Uninstall updates basically just removes any recent updates to put it back to a point where Windows 10 should work, or Windows 8.1 or whatever. System recovery image, that's basically using an ISO file, which is what I'm using at the moment to recover your system. Which is exactly what I'm doing at the moment. Startup repair, which is basically fixing problems to keep Windows from loading. So any problems with Windows starting up and getting to the operating system, so let's say it's shutting off as soon as it gets to the BIOS, that basically starts up, repairs that area. And command prompt is just for troubleshooting with code, but that's the one bit that I actually don't understand because I'm not very good with code. But that's the, let's just turn off the PC a minute and restart it. Do you want to revert the previous? No, continue. Yeah, so that's just how you would repair your PC. It's relatively safe, but that's how you would do it in that sense. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually install Windows to start off with. So I'm doing it. I'm in United Kingdom, so I would use English United Kingdom. But you can choose whatever language you're in. As you can see, it goes like English for all different countries, French, whatever. But I'm in the United Kingdom, and then you can choose your input method. But choose it as it actually is, because if, let's say, you're in the United States, if it's like select United Kingdom, United States, I know for a fact the keyboards work in a different way. I don't know how and I don't know why, but if but the keyboard inputs don't work properly if the keys are not like if your keyboard like layout is not correct to the actual keyboard you're using. So anyway, we'll click next, install now, and it should start up the installation and give us all of the like inputs to what we need to do. So what we've got is, so activate Windows. So you should have, if you're doing this on a new machine, you should have the ability to input your own license key. Now, I'm not going to put in a product key because I'm doing this on a virtual machine and such. I don't need it. So what you should do is either put your product key in now, or you don't actually have to put your product key in to start off with. And if you want to wait until your Windows 10 is installed correctly before you input the product key, you can click I don't have a product key, and it'll set up Windows in a non activated manner. So, and it's also good for me, for like people like me who like to use Windows virtual machines, so you can actually install Windows and not have to activate it every single time, because otherwise you'd end up having to buy like loads of product keys. So we're going to go for Windows 10 Pro. You can go for Home. I don't recommend Educational Edition. I'm not sure what the N version is. I think that's more of like a general use, like foreign version. But I always use just the normal Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 Home. Education Edition is just for school, so it's not required or necessary. Single language, I'm not sure what that means. So either go for the Windows 10 Home or the Windows 10 Pro, depending on which license you have. Because if you've got a Windows 10 Home license and you install Windows 10 Home, I can't guarantee that it will work. I've never tried it, so I wouldn't know. I know my PC that I'm using at the moment is Windows 10 Pro. That's another thing. Hyper-V, which is what I'm using at the moment, will not work. will not work for Windows 10 Home. But the alternative that you can use is Oracle's VirtualBox. I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. It works relatively the same. But I might do a tutorial on how to use that if it's so needed. Now, this is the acceptable use and notice policies. If you're, it's just the same thing every single time. If you want to read through that, you can. For me, in this particular instance, because I know how Microsoft works, and also because I know that I'm only using this as just a general like VirtualBox, virtual machine thing. I don't necessarily need to pay any attention to it, because I'm literally just going to boot it up to Windows, do a couple of tests on it, see if my theory will work, and then I'll just leave it and just delete the entire virtual machine. But so then you click next, and then you got two options. So upgrade, install Windows and keep files, settings, and applications. Now, if you're either upgraded from, let's say, Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, you can use this and it'll keep all your files and settings. Now, I would only suggest you do that if you've got a load of files in games that you want to keep. Otherwise, I would, and you just fancy just reinstalling your Windows 10 because things are getting a little bit messy. Other than that, I would highly recommend that you install Windows only. You only install Windows and wipe everything off of your hard drive. The only reason why I say that is because it basically factory resets your PC to Windows 10 to what it would be like as you buy it off of a store. So we're going to do that now. And as you can see, we've got 2 drives that we get to. So we've got these 2 drives, and what I'm going to do is, can I rename them? No, I can't. Right, so drive 0, unallocated space. So you can choose either one of these. I've only got 2 because that's the one I'm going to do Windows 10 on. This is the one I'm going to put Windows 8.1 on. So we're going to do that. If you have any other ones, and if they've got any space on them, so let's say you want to reinstall your Windows 10 operating system, you can go to this one, you can format and it will basically delete everything off of it so you can reinstall Windows clean. So we'll click this first one, then once you've selected your storage device you want to use, you click next. Excuse me. And then it should start the installation. Hopefully Hyper-V doesn't crash. It shouldn't crash. Right, so here we go, we're installing Windows. Now this will take quite a while, so I suggest while this is working, I highly suggest that you go and get something, like, you go and do something in the meantime, because once it gets to the bit where it actually needs you to do things with it, it will not automatically go any further without getting you to do any without having any stupid settings looked over because you've left it. Anytime that it needs you to input anything or to set anything up, you can just do it yourself. You can just do it yourself, and it will not skip over just because you've left it. So leave it for as long as you need. If you've got an older computer, it will take longer. If you've got a newer gaming-style computer with a powerful CPU, and even a solid-state drive, it will take less time. But go off for half an hour to an hour and come back and it should be done. As you can see, mine's going up pretty quickly because my CPU's quite a powerful CPU, and I am doing it on a hard disk drive because I haven't got a big enough SSD for doing Hyper-V stuff on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this running until it's finished. I'm going to just faff about doing a few bits and bobs. I'll be back once it's done. Alright guys, I'm back. Now, just to put that into context as to how long that took, I was there for at least 20 minutes. And considering my PC is pretty good, that just waiting for that was just a painstake. There was a bit in it, I've deleted the file because it's just me just waiting there. But there's a bit where it says just a moment, and it was literally just circling there. It was there for about 10 minutes. Now I've taken that out because there wasn't any necessary reason for it to be there. The rest of it I'm just going to keep in there, but just speed it up. But you've already seen that, so it's fine. So this is the next step of installing Windows 10. So this is where you can select like your region. Now I don't know why they want to do it. They want to do this again because we did it right at the start. Maybe it's because it's just for things for actually putting Windows on properly. But this is all like you can go for any part of the country that has a different type of region. But I'm in the United Kingdom, so I'm going to go United Kingdom, obviously. So let's click yes. It's just the basics, as you can see up here. It's just the basic stuff. Keyboard layout, again, just put it to your country. Again, mine's United Kingdom, so I'm going to use United Kingdom. If you want a second keyboard layout, then you can add it if you want. If you only know one keyboard layout, there isn't any need for you to do it, so just click skip. I'm not going to bother with it because I only use one keyboard layout, and that's the normal English United Kingdom one. So I'm just going to click skip on that. And where do we get to now? So now we get to network. Now, network for me using a virtual machine is a little bit of a faff because my virtual machine that I'm aware of isn't strictly actually connected to the internet. So as you should see here, it says no internet. Now, for you, it will either come up with a wired network. Now, my PC is hardwired, hence why it says network, no internet. When I actually get into installing Windows properly, I should be able to access the internet because I've set the network card up just to read what is on my Ethernet cable. But here it says no network. Now, if you're doing it in a virtual machine, you will get this, and it's perfectly fine. If you're installing Windows on a proper machine, you will either get, if it's already hardwired, you'll get it saying network connected, and it'll have this little like icon here. If you're on a wireless network, it'll give you the options of all of the wireless networks that are around your location. You need to find the one which matches the one that is on the back of your modem and the password in it, and you can do it in this setup. Or you can click skip for now and do it when you get to the desktop once everything's sorted out. So because mine's on a virtual machine, I'm just going to click skip for now because I physically can't do it. Connect now and save time later. Connect to the internet now. No, and again, it'll prompt you to connect to the internet, but I physically can't because I'm using a virtual machine. Again, if you want to, then that's perfectly fine. So who's going to be using this PC? Just put your name. I'm just going to put my name in, Commander Prime, because it's just a virtual machine. Commander Prime is what I've got on my normal PC anyway that I use. Need a really memorable password. So I'm just going to put my normal password in. I don't, it's just my normal generic stuff. You need to confirm it as well, so click next. So security question, I'm just going to skip over this because it's not like necessary. I'll just blur it out. So what's favorite pet's name? Just stick it like that. Security question 2 or 3. Just go into again, I'm just going to put just random stuff in this, because I don't need it necessarily because it's just a virtual machine. If you're going to do a proper, Windows install on your proper PC, then you will need to go through that, and I'd advise you do it properly. But because it's just a virtual machine for me, and I can just delete it and reinstall Windows whenever I want, there's no need for me to take any particular care in doing it. Because I'm just going to do this video, make this virtual machine, install Windows on it, and then just delete it because I don't need it. So Cortana, I don't have Cortana on because I just find it a bit of a faff and a bit of a pain, even on my own PC, because I don't see the need in it. If you want to and set it up, you click accept. If you don't, you just click decline. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click accept just for the warrant of showing you how to set it up. So I'm going to click accept. I'm not even sure how you properly set it up. Do more across devices with activity history. If you want your timeline and other Windows features to help you continue what you're doing, yeah, I wouldn't advise doing this because it says while personalize your experience while respecting your privacy. Microsoft, it says here, Microsoft products and services use this data to personalize your experience while respecting your privacy. They take your data, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by this in a second. So I would advise you click no. If you want to click yes, then by all means. But for this, I'm just going to click no. And all of these services, I would highly advise you, whether you're doing it in a virtual machine or your own PC, to turn all these off. And what it does is it basically, I'm just going to go on the ones where you just click yes, use this. Use your voice dictation to talk to Cortana and other apps and use Windows. Send Microsoft your voice data to help improve our speech services. You're sending your voice data to Microsoft. So I don't want Microsoft hearing what I say and what I say to Cortana. So I'm going to turn this off. So let Microsoft use your location. Get location based experiences like direction and weather. Let Windows and apps request your location. Microsoft will use location data to improve location services. I do not want Microsoft knowing where my location and where I am. So I'm going to click no on that and click accept. Find my device. Turn on find my device. Requires Microsoft account. I don't really need that for the moment. Use your device's location data to help you find your device if you lose it. I don't want that goes through Microsoft because it says Microsoft account. I do not want Microsoft knowing my location. So I'm going to turn this off. Send diagnostic data to Microsoft. Sends basic diagnostic data along with info about websites you browse and how you use apps and features, plus additional info about device health, device activity, and enhanced error reporting. I don't want Microsoft knowing what websites I browse and how I use my apps and features. I'm going to turn this off to basic. You can't actually turn this off completely because it still needs to send certain things like error messages to Microsoft because it helps them troubleshoot Windows to an extent. But I would rather basic stuff than full diagnostic data sent to them. So I'm going to click accept on that one. Send inking and typing data to Microsoft to improve language recognition and suggestion for compatibilities and apps and services run on Windows. I don't want Microsoft knowing what I'm writing on my little graphics tablets or what I'm typing into my keyboard because it could be a password that you're typing in and then Microsoft have got that information. So I'm going to click no because I don't want them to do that. Get tailored experiences with diagnostic data. Let Microsoft offer you tailored experiences based on the diagnostic data that you have chosen, either basic or full, in this case basic. Tailored experiences mean personalized tips, ads, and recommendations to enhance Microsoft product services for your needs. I don't want Microsoft knowing what I'm doing. I've set that to basic, so I'm going to turn recommendations off because this is basically just ads that are tailored to what I'm doing, but it says there will be more generic and less relevant to you, but it's just advertisements, so I don't particularly care. I don't want Microsoft knowing my data. Let apps use advertising ID. Apps can use advertising ID to provide your personalized advertising in accordance with privacy policy. I don't want Microsoft knowing that, so I'm just going to just make them less relevant to me because it's just less information that Microsoft are going to have on me. All of that you need to turn off because it's just all of it is data. The amount of people I've seen just with all of their basic settings just set. I know it's part and parcel of like when you buy a new laptop, it's the data that goes in. But looking at some people's settings and seeing that how much data they're sending to Microsoft, location, find my device, ads, everything, what you type into your keyboard, what you write on your graphics tablet. It's actually really sad, like, how much data they're sending to Microsoft without them knowing. I'm going to buy a new laptop. As of this going up, I've probably already bought it. But I highly advise anybody, when they buy a laptop new, either go through all the settings, Google it to find out how you get all of those settings, because they're all you can change it once you get into your operating system. Let's say once your operating system's been installed and you're on your desktop. If you happen to forget to do that, you can do it afterwards, and that's perfectly fine. You can still turn it all off. But I would highly advise anybody who's confident enough to, once they got a new laptop or they bought a new PC from scratch or put one together, if you've reinstalled your if you've got your operating system pre-installed, reinstall your operating system from scratch and turn all of that stuff off, because I don't want any of Microsoft technicians or anybody at Microsoft knowing my personal data. I don't think you guys want it either. So turn it all off. It's not necessary. It's not going to affect your your stuff that's the way you use the PC, no features are going to be turned off or anything. It's not going to decrease performance or anything. It's just going to stop that data, your personal data, being taken from yourself and given to Microsoft. That's all it's going to do. So we're back here with the just a moment sort of things. So I'm just going to hold back and just turn my microphone off, and I'm just going to skip it over to when we get to the next part. I am back. Now, this is actually, I've never seen this before. Here we are back with the network again. Click no. Right, so if you come up with this I haven't actually, seen before. This is actually new to me. I think it's because I'm using Hyper-V and I haven't used Hyper-V in bloody ages. Let's just go show options a minute. So, what this is basically just choosing your configuration of your display. Now, I'm using a 1920 by 1080p monitor, so, I'm set mine to full screen. You can set it to like 1920 by 1080. Now, if you're on a PC, if you've got a modern monitor, then it's more than likely 1920 by 1080p, or 4K or whatever. But it will always be the largest one in this section if this does pop up. Normally it won't, but because I'm using a Hyper-V, I think it wants to just tell me how much what my screen resolution it wants to be. If it's a laptop, it'll either be 1920 by 1080 or the largest one that they've got, or it'll be down here. Where is it? This one, the 1366 by 768. That is the mid-range PC laptop screen for like 15.6 inch laptops. That is the resolution. So, but again, that'll be your highest resolution that you can get in this configuration anyway. So I'd highly recommend you put it to full screen. Save my change for future connections to this virtual machine. So yeah, I think it's because I'm connected to a virtual machine. So I'll click save those settings. I don't need to bother any of that. So let's just click connect. Reconnect into the Windows machine. And there we go. We're back onto we're back in full screen mode in my virtual machine. So that is Windows 10 fully installed. Now that is just, oh god, what's it locking me out for? Here we go. So this is just like me reinstalling Windows 10. Now this is going to be put into separate parts because it is taking a flipping long time. So I'm going to do this one. This is just basically going to be titled Dual Windows Install Part 1, Installing Windows 10. It's just going to tell you how to install Windows 10 or reinstall it if you so much wish to. Also, this is another thing. So, do you want to allow your PC to be discovered by other PCs and devices on this network? We recommend allowing this on your home or work networks, but not public ones. Just click off just altogether. It just means that it allows your network from it allows your computer to communicate with other devices on your home or work network. If you turn it off completely straight off the bat, you do not need to worry about doing it on other networks. So just by default, just turn it off, because it says don't do it on public networks. If public networks are anything like a free Wi-Fi and let's say a bus, a train, Costa Coffee, whatever, anywhere there's free network, that's a public network. So that's the reason where you should turn it off. But if you turn it off all the time, regardless of whether you're on a public work or home network, just turn it off and then you'll be safe 100% of the time. It's not going to decrease the speed and performance. It's just going to stop your devices being discoverable by other PCs. It's not going to affect you whatsoever. Now, I can see it says network connected, no network access. I want to just see if I can connect to the internet and if my internet connection is actually like working. And whether my actual internet switch actually works correctly or not. Just go into Google. I don't think this will work. I'm not sure if my network switch is connected up properly. Again, this is all like virtual machine stuff. When you're using your own PC and you're reinstalling Windows, this would all be done automatically, especially if you're hardwired. If you're hardwired, it will do it automatically, no questions asked. If you're doing it wirelessly, you'll get your little wireless icon here. There's only here at the moment like this because I can't connect. This is only here at the moment here because I've got it hardwired and it's not recognizing my Ethernet cable. But that's because I'm using a virtual machine and I haven't got my internet switch on properly. So what I do is if I go and shut down, just shut down the virtual machine a minute, just turn it off. And this is a particular instance where it doesn't work. If I just go onto my file explorer a minute, everything else, all the Windows stuff works. All of this like file explorers and whatnot works. I don't know why the other that's a floppy disk drive. That's my disk drive, yeah. I'm not sure why the other storage drive won't show up. Maybe it's because it's not recognized. Maybe I actually need to reinstall an operating system on it and then get it to work. Not sure. But anyway, so that is the end of this video here, the first part in this little experiment. Next episode, we will be coming back into this virtual machine and we'll be installing Windows 8.1 Pro. Now, as you can see, just as a point when I said to you about activating it, it might have automatically activated. I'm not sure. I don't think it is because I'm not signed into my Microsoft account. Or at least I don't think I am. If it's signed me into my Microsoft account, it may. Yeah, see, it's not activated. So I'm not too bothered about activating Windows on this because it's a virtual machine. But you do want to try and get Windows 10 activated as soon as you possibly can. There are numerous different ways on how to do it, such as buying a key. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because you need to go and do that yourself. I know ways of doing it, but the way that I do it through my Microsoft account, that is perfectly legal, but it's whether you can do that yourself or not. So I'm not going to tell you that and allow you to try that and something go wrong. Excuse me. So next episode we will be going back into this virtual machine, back into Hyper-V, and we'll be installing Windows 8.1 Pro, or a version of Windows 8.1 depending on which one I've got in the ISO. And then what we'll be doing is the third episode because the episode 2 will take as long as it is installing Windows 10. It's such a long process. But episode 3 will then see if we can put the experiment to the test and see if we can swap between drives just by going into the BIOS and changing the boot order of the drives and seeing if I can get it to work that way. So apart from that, that's about all we have time for in this Let's Play video here. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button for more awesome gaming or technology content. If you do have any ideas for other stuff I could do in virtual machines or any kind of other tech videos that you want to see, leave them in the comment section down below and I'll try my best to either answer them or do them in a video. And I hope you guys have enjoyed and I shall see you all later. Bye!